Hi, welcome to What's Up with DJ Now. Today we're making Instant Pot corned beef and cabbage. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. There's the supplies I'll be using. There's also an onion that I didn't put in the picture that we will be using. Now here's the corned beef I will be using. It is a 4.63 pound corned beef brisket, flat cut. Now flat cut is a much leaner cut. It still has a layer of fat on the bottom that will keep it moist. It's the cut you'll find most often in the supermarkets. And the point cut is a more fattier version, and it's hard to slice because of the fat running through it on the point cut. So that one's more typically used to shred up the meat instead of slicing it. So anyhow, okay, we're going to put 3 cups of water in the bottom of the Instant Pot. Another cool fact about why corned beef is called corned beef when it has nothing to do with corn whatsoever. The British actually invented the term corned beef, and it was to describe the size of the salt crystals used to cure the meat because they were the size of corn kernels. So that's kind of a cool fact. But that's why it's called corned beef, because of the size of the salt kernels and the spices that were used. They were the size of like your small little pinky fingernail, like the size of a kernel of corn. Okay, so what I'm doing here, excuse me, losing my voice, I've cut up 1 onion just into large chunks, and we're going to be putting those down into the water. And then this is optional, but I'm putting in about a tablespoon of garlic. It's not mandatory. You get a lot of seasonings already included into your corned beef brisket when you buy it, so it's pretty much already seasoned up. But I like garlic, so I like to put a little bit of garlic in there, but it's completely optional. And this is also optional, the bay leaf. I grew up with my mom always putting a bay leaf in when you're cooking a roast or anything, so I'm going to put 1 bay leaf in. Completely optional. Now we're going to lower our corned beef right in there on our trivet so that it'll be easy to pull out later. Going to go ahead and get our lid on. Okay, now I'm just going to show you back here. Mine automatically seals whenever I have the lid shut. So if yours doesn't automatically seal, then you want to make sure and put it into the sealing position. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and hit pressure cook, and we're going to make sure this is on the more and high setting. And we're going to set this for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now some Instant Pots will say 1 hour and 30 minutes. Some will say 90 minutes, so whatever yours says, make sure and just do it for 1.5 hours or 90 minutes. Also, some will say pressure cook, some will say manual. either way. And on your more and high setting. And then we'll go ahead and let this beep and start coming on. And the time will start when it comes to full pressure. Now let's go ahead and get our cabbage and potatoes ready. The traditional meal is corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, and carrots. Now I've decided to go ahead and cut out the core because I just don't want it in there. This will make the cabbage kind of fall apart in your Instant Pot when it cooks. If you'd rather keep your cabbage more solid into wedges, then I suggest you leave the core in because that will hold it together better. So it's your preference at that point. Now your potatoes, you're going to want to just leave them in big chunks. I'm doing 4. You could, up this depending on how many you want for your family. It's just me, so I'm just doing this for presentation purposes, but I like potatoes, so I went ahead and did 4. I actually like potatoes more than I like the cabbage. I'm not crazy about cabbage. Okay. Now we've already let this go for a natural release for 26 minutes with the meat, which you'll want to do because that helps to make it more tender. So do not do a quick release. When your meat's done cooking, at least let it natural release for no less than say 25 minutes or so. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my potatoes and carrots and cabbage right into the water that the meat just cooked in with the onions. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. A little bit of carrots. You can use the baby carrots, or you could cut up carrots into 3-inch long or 2-inch long pieces, whatever you prefer. Now I'm just going to put the cabbage in. And you can just leave it in big chunks because when it cooks, it's going to come all apart in there. Now this isn't going to take much time for the potatoes and carrots and cabbage to cook. Okay, again, make sure you're in the sealing position. Mine automatically seals on this model. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and set this for pressure cook or manual, whatever your machine shows. And we're going to bring this down to 4 minutes. You can actually get away with 3 minutes. So I would set it for either 3 to 4 minutes. I'm going to do 4. So my stuff will be a little bit more softer, but 3 is actually perfectly fine and works well. Okay, now we'll let that go ahead and go. And we'll go ahead and get to the meat. And we're going to go ahead and slide off this extra fat. The fat will turn gelatinous, which means you can just it's just kind of gel-like in there. You can just kind of like slide it right off. If you need to use a knife, you can, but usually you can just kind of use a fork or a knife or something and just kind of slide off the fat. You're also going to want to take off those extra little peppercorns and seasonings because those are like little hard bits, so you want to get off the majority of them. You don't have to, but it's just preference, like if you want to be biting into those when you're eating or not. So I usually slide off most of them. Here comes Sammy for his taste test, my quality control supervisor. He smelled it, so he wanted to taste a little bit of the fat that I was scraping off. So we'll go ahead and give him his taste, my buddy here. If you watch my videos, you know that he's in mostly all my videos. He's my partner. Now, is he going to approve it with some high fives? Yeah, he's going to approve it. It's going to give us some extra high fives and even a double high five at the end. One more. Come on. Let's see it. There we go. Double high five. Yay. So let's go ahead and I'm slicing up the meat. Kind of sped this up a little bit because you don't need to see me slicing the whole thing. Just giving you a view of how easy it is to slice. Again, this is the flat cut roast corned beef. You have point cut and you have flat cut. Point cut is better for shredding up because it has more fat running through it. So if you want one that you want to slice nicely, you want to get a flat cut. If you want to shred it into pieces, then you get a point cut. The point cut is a little harder to cook. It has more fat running through it. Okay, here's a close-up of the meat. It smells so good. Okay, now we're going to open up. Our veggies are all done. Look at that cabbage, all nice and good on the top. You can see it's all nice and separated. So let's go ahead and start putting this in our bowl along with the cut meat. I just use a 9x13 casserole dish. It's just easier to put everything in there. Plus, when you get all your veggies in there and your meat, you can take a little bit of that juice that's left in your pot and put a little bit over the top of your meat, and that'll just help to keep it nice and wet and moist. So you got the mixture of the cabbage, the potatoes, and the carrots. I wouldn't put any salt when you're cooking this because the corned beef naturally has lots of salt from the curing that it's gone through. So don't salt until the end because most likely you won't need salt. I didn't need any salt. All I did was add some black pepper and it was perfect. Okay, here's my plate with the black pepper. And let's go ahead and have a look up close and have a taste. There's some potato and some carrot. Let's get a little bit of the cabbage. My grandmother used to love corned beef and cabbage at St. Patrick's Day. She made it every year for us. Like I said, I've never been a really big fan of cabbage. I like sauerkraut, but cabbage like this I'm not crazy about. So I thought now that I'm more of an adult, let me try it and see if I like it. I'd say it's okay, but will I eat most of this cabbage? No. The potatoes, yes. And the carrots, yes. And the meat, yes. So it's just a matter of preference and what you like, but this is the traditional meal. So in honor of my grandmother, I made it, and I thought I'm going to eat it like she would want me to. Now I'm going to just show you that this meat is so easy, that it's so tender to cut and easy to cut. It's very good meat. Very tender, very juicy, moist. Let's get a little bit of cabbage on there. Let's take a combo bite with the cabbage and the corned beef. Now here's a really close-up look. Like I said, I like black pepper, so yes, that's a lot of black pepper, but it's fresh ground pepper and I love it. Do what you like, what makes you happy. But I really want to thank you for watching my video. Here's Sammy coming to get another bite. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you will try this. You will not be disappointed, I promise. And I hope that you have a nice St. Patrick's Day. You can make this year-round, but of course you want to do it on St. Patrick's Day. It's tradition. So thanks for watching. I'll have my social media and Facebook groups linked in the description. And you all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.